You faced some criticism in recent weeks over your push to defund the police. Campaign records show that you spent roughly $70,000 on private security, and some critics say that move is hypocritical. What's your response to those critics?
They would rather I die? You would rather me die? Is that what you want to see? You want to see me die? You know, because that could be the alternative. So either I spent $70,000 on private security over the last few months, and I'm here standing now and able to speak, able to help save 11 million people from being evicted, or I could possibly have a death attempt on my life. And we're also talking about the same exact people who say horrible things about me, who lie to build up their base. And then because they lie about me, I receive death threats. Now, they don't address the fact that I receive death threats after they go on air and say horrible things about me. But then they want to say, oh, but she needs private security. I have private security because my body is worth being on this planet right now. I have private security because the white supremacist, racist narrative that they drive into this country, the fact that they don't care that this black woman that has put her life on the line, they can't match my energy, first of all. This black woman who puts her life on the line, they don't care that I could be taken out of here. They actually probably are okay with that. But this is the thing. I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
Yeah, so, they say the wheels of justice turn slowly. And it's got to be true because basically every single person who has paid any real attention at all to Congressman Cori Bush saw this coming a mile away. We've been talking about this same issue for years and years. She demeans and degrades and defunds the police while spending what I have to say is a really impressive campaign war chest on private security, because she's just so important and she's got things to do. Unlike her constituents, of course, who are not important, have nothing to do, and they're on their own, and they will always be on their own. But anyway, she spends all this money on herself, and like a truly devoted Democrat, she finds a way to funnel all that money back to herself, or at least a good portion. She did exactly what Fani did. Overpay an underqualified person to do a job that doesn't need to be done, and then date the guy. Or in this case, marry the guy, and then just go on taking in the cash together. The most basic kind of conflict of interest corruption that you can have. And now, watching the DOJ come for her, I think there are two people that are probably more frightened by all this than Cori Bush ever will be. And that is Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Fani, she's freaking out because she's allegedly running the very same scam. And now she knows that her pigment isn't going to save her from what she thought was a friendly Biden DOJ. But even more scared than Fani, I promise you, is Nathan Wade. Because now he knows that if they have any hope of pulling this off, he has got to marry Fani Willis. And that is not what he signed up for. I promise you, that is not what he was hoping to get out of this. But anyway, lots of breaking news. Everyone's sixth favorite squad member, Cori Bush. Take a look.
This breaking news now. Sources have confirmed to Fox News that far-left Democrat squad member Cori Bush of Missouri is now under federal investigation for misusing federal security money. Bush has spent more than $750,000 on private security since she was elected in 2020. Now, remember, these are the same people who defunded the police, but then had to have private security. A watchdog has also demanded that the Federal Election Committee investigate $62,000 of that money that Bush paid to her now husband. He was her boyfriend back then. She hired him to be a security guard from her campaign account. You may remember Congresswoman Bush, one of the big proponents of defunding the police in 2020. I mention it again because look how much she spent. to make sure she certainly didn't defund her protection.
Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, right? And I do hope that this woman gets a fair shake. But just take a step back and look at this set of facts objectively. I mean, this really is textbook virtue signaling, woke insanity gone bad. I mean, here's what I mean. This lady preaches defunding the police, right? Basically, she wants policing as we know it dismantled and replaced with something more equitable. And she was elected in 2020 into Missouri's first congressional district, which is basically St. Louis. And since then, she spent almost $1 million on her personal security. But here's the best part. You know, here's where Democrats' Hippocratic oath really kicks in. In the time that she has been representing these people, 858 of them have been murdered. And the real number, dollar-wise, is for every $874 that she spent on her own well-being, her own protection, one of her constituents has been murdered. And that is unacceptable, man. I mean, all it is, it's just elitist, it's hypocrisy, it's everything negative that you can possibly imagine about Washington. And we can't accept it, man. So I'm glad she's being investigated. I'm glad that there's going to be some accountability, but really, her district needs to know this. They have got to make better decisions with their votes. And Republicans need to be stronger, man. They have got to defeat people like this at the ballot box. I mean, these people are no good. No matter what they tell you, no matter what you think they believe, they're no good, man. But Republicans won't. They won't beat her. They won't even try. You know, they won't say a word. And speaking of them not saying a word, remember George Santos? This is what Cori Bush said about George Santos, who was also, by the way, not convicted of anything when they expelled him from Congress.
The seating of insurrectionists and someone who defrauded his way into Congress. That's where we are. And
man, so you would think that Congress has now set a precedent by removing members accused of crimes. But you know that they haven't. They have only set a precedent of removing Republicans who have been accused of crimes. In Santos, by the way, he was alleged to have misused $44,000, and they took it very seriously. Bush is alleged to have him beat by over $700,000. So obviously, I mean, we don't need to take bets. We all know what's going to happen. But my bet would be that no one will even mention the Santos effect. No Republican will be brave enough to even make a peep. They're not going to say a word. And the next thing we'll probably start seeing on the floor of Congress is squad speech after squad speech, grandstanding, you know, talking about how this investigation is only because she's black. And we already know that you can't pull a fire alarm in Congress when you're black. So they're definitely not going to let you embezzle while you're black. But I think it's important. Let's let Cori Bush have a say for herself.
the Federal Election Commission and the House Committee on Ethics are currently reviewing the matter, as is the Department of Justice. We are fully cooperating in all these pending investigations. In September of last year, 2023, after conducting a months-long investigation, the Office of Congressional Ethics found no wrongdoing and voted unanimously to dismiss the case.
Yeah, so not much there. I mean, which you'd expect, with pending charges, but, you got to let her say her piece. And who knows what'll happen, right? And honestly, I really don't care about what money she spent on whatever she spent it on. I do care, but I care more about just the hypocrisy, man. How can you strip protections away from your own constituents while you surround yourself with security, man? And then she pushes strict, unconstitutional gun measures, and then she bitches and moans about a colleague's Christmas card with firearms in it, and then surrounds herself with an army full of guns. It's just ridiculous, man. We have got to stop rewarding this kind of hypocrisy, man. It is the worst kind. It's unapologetic hypocrisy. They do not care what you know about them. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to be happy about it. But, something tells me she better get off old Genocide Joe's back about Gaza, or he's not ever going to call off the dogs. That's probably partially what this is about. Because remember, this is a weaponized Department of Justice, allegedly. They don't just send it one way. But anyway, that's all I've got, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.